In our last episode, we explored an old abandoned salt mine and had a Sea of Cortez weather lesson. This time around, we stopped by another one of my favorite anchorages on the southern Baja and have ourselves one big fat fish. All along the Baja, there are remote and rugged anchorages worthy of your time. And if the weather is right, Timba Beach definitely deserves a stop. But even with some incredible scenery, we would only spend a quick night at Timba Beach, because just 2 miles farther up the coast was one of my favorite anchorages on the entire Baja. And so, after a pretty nice night, we were off on a big, whopping, light wind 2-mile sail north to one of the most picturesque anchorages around.
Well, we made it to Puerto de los Gatos, which is the Bay of the Cats, and it was only about 2 miles from where we stayed last night. Pretty quick and easy. But I gotta say, first of all, I've never seen any cats here, so I'm not sure why it's called that, but it's still one of my favorite stops in the Sea of Cortez. Between the mountains in the background, the rock formations, all the colors, this place is stunning. It's incredible. But one of the best things is right behind us, within swimming distance, there's 3 different reefs, all with good snorkeling.
And of course, that meant we were going in the water. With a quick anchor check out of the way, we were off to explore the underwater world right around our little floating home. With 3 different reefs right outside our back door, each with varying types of rock structures, a day in the water is not only a great way to beat the heat, it makes for a pretty fun day of exploration. While we were out for an underwater day of sightseeing and exploration, Sebastian on the trimaran Anduril, he had gone out into the big water to find ourselves some dinner.
Like a seagull.
You guys are like professionals.
Hello? Hello, professionally. All right. So I'll get a shot of that. That's a good one right there.
This big old cabrilla, it's some of the best eating around.
That was my boat.
Now throw it over your shoulder. Because I've seen people carry fish that way too.
That's a good one right there. All right.
Nice job, killer.
Good job. And the teeth? Lovely.
Yeah, it's got some chompers.
We thank you, Mother Ocean, for this
Big fat fish.
big fat fish.
And this big fat fish, it would be turned into some pretty amazing meals and feed the 4 of us for the next handful of days. But to do a big old fish like this justice, you can't just cook it anywhere. So, once this thing was cleaned and prepped, we were off to shore to find the perfect place to create a culinary masterpiece.
Oh, I see something big down here already lurking.
Out of all the places we've been over the years, I don't know that many match up to the coastline of Puerto de los Gatos. There's something about the colorful sandstone next to the crystal clear Sea of Cortez that makes it stand out as someplace truly special. And when you throw the mountains into the background and have some good friends around, this place really is hard to beat. After a little bit of exploration to scope out a perfect spot, it was time to create that culinary masterpiece.
But I always like to eat a lot. Good job, gentlemen.
I will probably get
That's a
red one.
fire.
Is that solar?
Yeah.
It's just such a nice fire. We put garlic, olive oil, lemon pepper, and black pepper, and some Himalayan salt.
Everybody, there was a big
I've got to admit, this lifestyle we live is pretty incredible. But there are some days that make it stand out and seem just about perfect. And having some freshly caught cabrilla cooked over an open fire in an amazing place like Puerto de los Gatos, it's really hard to beat. Even though this day and this place went down in the books as something special, the next morning we were out of there, 'cause on the horizon, there came something we hadn't expected.
Well, Puerto de los Gatos, right behind us. We actually thought we'd spend another day or so there, but we have a surprise south breeze. And it wasn't even forecasted. So we're taking it and we're going north. And in theory, we got a 3-way race with my old friend Ken, the racer. He's on Ojo Rojo. And Sebastian on the trimaran Andurillo. But those 2 boats, in theory, are a bit faster than us on a downwind sail. So we had to do what we would normally do. We cheated. We left early. And it's working because really I can hardly see them anymore. But that's because they're still anchored. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Downwind sailing at its best, nice and light breeze and 0 swell. Pretty great. How's it looking, Brenda?
Looking good.
quite a few miles we'd still hope to cover this season, and me loving a good downwind sail, Puerto de los Gatos was in the rearview mirror. And even though we weren't quite ready to leave, some of the sights out here made it all worthwhile. And with Ken and Sebastian both loving a good downwind sail too, well, they weren't very far behind us. After a pretty great day of sailing at its absolute finest, we made it here, Bahia San Marte. And as much as we love getting to a remote and rugged anchorage and having it all to ourselves, I gotta say, it's a whole lot better having some friends around. Especially when we've still got a freezer full of fish, and when that fish seems to taste better when it's shared. But that's about it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and join us next time as we head to Bahia de Agua Verde and attempt to do a little good.